I really do enjoy it. I get to all sorts of interesting places and do extraordinary things because I do bell ringing.
When you think of quintessential England, you might imagine a church like the one behind me here, St Peter Mancroft in Norwich. But what if I told you there's a secret within them? And that is the art of bell ringing. And I'm going up the tower to discover a little bit more.
Look to, treble's going, she's gone.
Right, you need a lot of mental focus for it, and that's quite difficult. But once you get that, it's very, very satisfying. Well, it's not. I haven't really got it yet, so. But I'm told that it's very satisfying, and a lot of people say that that's why they like ringing, because there's the intellectual. It's not intellectual, but the mental effort required. It makes it very satisfying.
This room, okay, so this is a purpose-built teaching centre. Prior to this one, there were only 2 teaching centres in the world. One was in Adelaide in Australia, and the other one was at Worcester Cathedral. So what happened, we had the anniversary of the first peal, the 300th anniversary coming up, and we thought about all the different things you could do, hold a party, go and drink beer. But what could we do that would make some sort of impact on ringing? So somebody suggested we put a bell ringing training centre in, and that's what we've done.
If you're religious, you ring bells. That's not the case at all. I mean, most of us are rather agnostic, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's just really good fun. I'd recommend it to anybody, really.
And there's always a pub near a church.
There's always a pub, yes.
And it's thirsty work.
If you do it wrong.
Seeing how the training room works with digital bells and how modern bell ringers learn, I wanted to see how the real bells were rung. So, bright and early on a Sunday morning, I went along to the ringing.
Look to, treble's going, she's gone.
Up yet another floor, Neil showed me the real bells.
The bells are basically dating back to 1775, and they still sound today exactly as they did then. Well, the nice one, the little bell we saw that sits on top of all the rest, I went down on my birthday in 1997 and saw that one cast. Little did I know then that I'd end up working for the firm that cast them in.
But how does it actually work? Here's Nikki.
Bell ringing started probably in the 16th century, and to start with, bells were hung with probably half a wheel and rung much as they are on the continent. So they were just swung by pulling on a rope, and they really had their own momentum, so you couldn't control them. So what they did in this country, they decided to put a wheel on them so that you could ring them all the way round. And we now start ringing with the bells in the upright position. So the bells turn all the way through the circle as we pull on the rope, and you've got one hand stroke and one back stroke. And the idea is to control them and take them to the balance point. So what we do, we pull on the rope, it goes all the way round, hover, wait for everyone, and then ring back again. And by doing that, you can then control how we ring.
I'm absolutely fascinated by history, and I've got this book here, The Bells Told, all about the history of St Peter Mancroft and the bells. I mean, just listen to this. On the 2nd of May 1715, the first recorded complete peal was rung at St Peter Mancroft Church in Norwich. It took 3 hours, 18 minutes without stopping, without any bell rung out of place. I mean, who would have known a small church on a little hill in Norwich would have been so important to the history of bell ringing, to the world? But really, I shouldn't just keep reading and talking about this all day. I need to go experience this for myself. Trying it out, I found it was quite difficult to make sure you put your hands in the right place, but once you get the hang of it, it is quite relaxing, something I will continue to learn. Apart from me, I wanted to know how this tradition will stay alive in the future, and so the best place to look are the youngest students, some as young as 10.
How long have you been bowering?
Since I was 4, that's when I started to learn. My dad and my mum both ring, and I've sort of inherited that love for it, really. Because I like it.
I've learned a backstroke and a handstroke, and it's been fun.
I think not only is the act of bowering itself quite, it's quite a challenge. I think also having the kind of community around you, it's really lovely.
It's really fun, but sometimes it can be hard, but you mustn't give up because it can be really rewarding.
I'd say just do it. Even if, you don't end up liking it, I think it's still an experience that you've done and you've tried. I mean, who can say, oh yeah, I've tried bowering before, I think it's a really cool thing to do.
Through my time going up the bell tower, exploring places you wouldn't usually go to, I can happily say the future for bell ringing is in safe hands.
You need the young ringers to progress through to become the experts of the future.